So I'm back at Lamborghini HROing in Hatfield. That's Ellie, that's Ru, and this is a real Lamborghini Revuelto. And I've got a key, and we're gonna do a cold start. Last time I was here, you saw me spec my brand new car, and a lot of comments were very shocked at the price.
£548,000, £994.
This time, I learned about some hidden gems.
Oh my God.
Another one they didn't know.
You not noticed that?
No, that looks so good though. First time I've seen that.
And in 2024, the race is on.
I hope Carwell are bringing a fighter jet.
Wow, that's big talk. Come on. It's not a Ford. It's not a BMW. It is Lamborghini. So, I was here for the Lamborghini Hatfield launch the other day, and the car was here. So it only made perfect sense to me to come back and get up close and personal. And luckily, Ru said to me, Jan, no problem. So this car is what, a press car or?
Yeah, it's a launch car, so it's Lamborghini's car, which they send around to do all the launches across the world.
Okay, is there only one of these?
No, they'll be circulating Europe, Middle East, Africa on their press fleet, so they'll use it for various press activities.
Talk to me about the cold start and the engine sound, because are we comparing that to an Aventador?
Still early days, I think, with the car. You know, I think they're still doing quite a bit more testing with regards to sounds, emissions, etc., etc. I think it will sound a lot different when the car's out.
Really? What, louder, more raw?
It was part of the DNA that they wanted to keep all of that all Lamborghini drivers love, the sound, the dramatics. They want to keep all that. To start it and it sound like an electric car was never in the brief.
Make sure you stay tuned to the end to hear this incredible cold start for the very first time. When are we expecting to see these on the road customer cars?
I would like to say Q1 next year. You're talking trinkets of cars. You're not having lorry loads of them turning up. You know, Q1 for HROing, we most probably will be delivering. If it's double figures, I'll be surprised.
Okay, and how many are we expecting to come into the UK?
I'd be surprised if this car gets to 250 cars.
Really?
The UK.
When we look at the comment section was interesting, shall we say. Okay, Ellie had she had a few comments, okay, and obviously Ru's been on a lot of my videos, so it's always interesting. Question they did say to me was, why are you not waiting for a convertible? Why are you not waiting for the SV version and stuff like that? Is there a convertible coming out?
No comment.
Is there going to be a souped up, when you say soup, this is extreme anyway.
What, like an SV variant?
Yeah, like an SV version.
No comment.
What is so different about this car? Now that we've got a real one here and we're looking at it, obviously the shape is incredible, the aerodynamics, the wheels, the carbon spec, the engine clear with no cover on the back. You said a really interesting comment and a few people spoke to me about it where you were like, I'm like, is this a hypercar? And you were like, well, it's a supercar and hypercars have now gone to another level. Is this the pinnacle of Lamborghini right now? Because over there, we've got a Countach. And that's obviously the old school car brought back to life. Where's the difference? Obviously, that's like £2.5 million and this is £500,000.
Countach was a limited run car. And
112?
112 cars, which was basically the code name for the car when the original Countach came out.
Yeah.
It was LP112. This is massively different. This is Lamborghini next generation. You know, so Aventador, Huracan is where we stop. This is where we now move forward and look beyond. The heritage for the brand is always going to be within the cars because I don't think you can ever lose that. However, the world's different looking forward. Look at what electrification's doing. You know, everyone has to move that way.
Yeah.
It's keeping what we want, but obviously adapting to what it has to be, which is a tough one. But this and the cars coming in the future will tick all those boxes.
When people were speccing their cars, did a lot of people order Apple CarPlay or did they say, you know what, I'm not having it?
We've tried to encourage people to take it for when they come to resell the car in the future through us. The next owner may want Apple CarPlay, so we do try and actively encourage people to take it, but I have had one or two that said they just don't want it.
Because the car's so new, we don't know if this is going to be an option that you can have fitted at dealer later.
The whole idea of you guys is to try and advise your customers for when you do resell the car in a year, 2 years or down the line, that you know what, it's got the best spec when someone wants to buy that specific car. Colours obviously is personal preference, but I think the the tech side, I think, is important. Like when you said to me about getting all the driver assist and stuff like that, that was interesting because, again, a few comments were like, well, no, why would you want that? And then other people were like, no, you actually do want that. So it always splits opinions. Comments will always, it always splits opinions when we put videos out.
Comments always will.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it a long, long time. And if you gave me £1 for every time the second owner said, I wish it had that, or I won't buy it because it doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Or we will say it's actually worth maybe less. Because obviously by the time that car comes for sale or onto the used car market, we will have buying trends from what people are looking for. When we're buying, we will buy off the back of those trends where people are saying, I want Apple CarPlay, or I want the passenger side display. You know, options like that, or the lane assist, etc. So we will know that the market's asking for that.
My friend spec'd his one the other day, John Lee, and I know he's gone for stealth, Batman, gold wheels. Has anyone else spec'd a car since I have with a different style spec or any crazy colours?
Well, I haven't spec'd anybody else in the same colour combination that you have since, or even before that. Again, a couple of people have spec'd matte black with yellow or with red. That's been the most popular choice, same as it was when we spoke a few weeks ago.
It's like the most popular wrap colour. Satin black will always be the most popular colour. I think no matter what you put it on, it always works.
But for the first time, I think since we've launched a car, we're actually quite surprised how many people haven't gone with launch colour.
I've had one choose launch colour.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the reason people go with launch because they've physically seen it. It's in their eyes, it's in their brain, it's programmed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people haven't, because I think when the car was launched at the factory, when they did the big unveil, there were pictures coming out with white, blacks, satin blacks, matte blacks. You know, there were quite a few colours bouncing around. So I call it eye training. Your eye's been trained to different views, whereas when we normally, or manufacturers normally launch a car, it's in that one colour.
The Aventador launch colour, what colour was that?
Orange
Which
Argos.
was what the...
It's similar, it's like a fiery orange.
Okay.
The orange you had on the
Oh,
first
was that my
Aventador.
one?
Yeah.
Was that, okay, so that was the launch colour?
Yeah, the majority of them were ordered in that. If you look on Auto Trader today, majority of the early LP700s were in a Rancho Argos.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Do you know what this car would cost? Do we know what this would spec at?
It would be very similar to the one that we spec'd with you.
Yeah, so it'd be around the 550 mark again. So this has got black brake calipers, which obviously black on black, a lot of people like a black brake caliper. Would someone not have gone orange, do you think, with something like this? Do you not think it works, or?
The orange that you can have, I don't think the colour would match close enough for it to work.
Yeah.
And also with calipers, it's not a question of just painting a caliper to match the colour of the car. There's so much R&D testing that goes into it, because obviously heat behaves differently on different colours. So the amount of time that goes in, I think from a manufacturer point of view, they would look at it and think the cost or the spend to go into the research of that outweighs it. So I think it's a finite number of colours, and that's what they'll offer.
I think there's a certain amount of miles that a car has to cover with a different colour paint on for them to test it, to get to see how it responds to the heat.
Because you've got to remember, that is red hot down there.
I know they get very hot. Just have a look at my Urus here.
All your brakes are smoking. Yeah, you need to do a cool down lap, mate. Don't touch the brakes.
My Urus brakes caught fire. That's what happens when you don't do a cool down lap.
He was on them too late and he didn't do a cool down lap.
For me, I wanted white wheel, white caliper. I just wanted everything white, like the Gallardo. But now I've gone with the red caliper, haven't I? I've gone with the red caliper, and it's just the white wheel that I really want to work. There's a white car with a white wheel. That is how I'd like my car to come. But I'm sure Ru will...
We've asked the question.
We've asked the question, that's it. You can only ask the question. I got a little bit of a backlash on this as well. So when we said about the colour, and they were like, oh, it's 15 grand for the paint. I was like, that's not bad. And they were like, how can you just say it's not bad? Let's address that.
The initial comment from you also came from the fact previously to that we were discussing the paints that are available that you can create yourself, which are like two-tone paints, and some of them are as much as £50,000. So in comparison to a £50,000 paint, 15,000 isn't too bad.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
It's all relative. People talk about pricing, and obviously the world we live in now, it's not a Ford, it's not a BMW, it is Lamborghini. It is a premium brand, it's a high-end car, and the world has changed. Do you think a car that's £500,000 in this day and age is expensive?
No, I don't. We haven't been opened up to the car yet. Once you see everything and it's been out, etc., press, and you get to see exactly what's gone into this car, you'll understand why it's at that price.
Aventador, when it came out in 2013, starting price was what, 250?
No, what, 700?
Yeah.
Yeah, 700 you could pick up for 250, 270.
When you originally. So obviously, and that was 9 years ago. So in 9 years, obviously, the world has changed a lot.
You've got to look at what
And
house
everything's gone
prices
up.
were at 9 years ago, so it's relative.
And is this double the car, would you say?
I'd say more.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally moved on. Tech in cars is just moving at such a pace that Lamborghini have most probably built this 5 years ahead.
Another comment, people like, Yanni, get this on CarWow, race it against Matt. And they said Porsche Turbo will probably beat it anyway. How quick are we expecting this to be? 0 to 60.
2.5 seconds.
BHP?
1,050.
I'll tell you what, she's good with her numbers, isn't she?
And in that 0 to 60, you can get up to pulling 1G. Yeah.
Is that like warp speed?
So I hope CarWow are bringing a fighter jet.
Wow, that's big talk. Come on. That's like me in the race. Gives me an extra 10 brake horsepower when I do that. So this is an engine that runs on petrol and it's hybrid. So you can charge it at your house or charge it at a petrol station like you do with a Tesla as an example.
Yeah, so it's a plug-in hybrid. You can charge it on a 3-point socket, but it's going to take a long time.
Does it run on both?
Yeah.
So if we had no petrol in this car, would it still run?
To a limit, yes, but on electric mode.
And obviously all the power is when you've got the V12.
And it's all kicking in together.
And it's all singing, all dancing.
All partying together.
When you drive the car, you can drive in electric mode, which will be in Strada.
Yeah.
I assume it will just stay in electric.
Yeah, so you can only drive in full electric mode in Strada.
And when you want the power, you're going to Sport, you're going to Corsa.
Yeah, exactly.
So we took a quick break from filming, and while we were standing there, Ru showed us this absolute gem of a feature on the back of the car. Have a look at this. What?
When the light's on,
What light? The car?
brake light,
Yeah.
it's the shape of the bull's head with the horns.
Where? What, inside?
Oh no,
Hold
the light outside light, exterior light. You not seen that? Let me show you, young Gus.
I think there's going to be, oh, there we go.
So if you dead pan from here, there's the head and then the bull's horns.
It's all in, see, these things are what makes Lamborghini special. They think outside the box.
Oh my God.
Another one they didn't know.
You not notice that?
No, that looks so good though. Do it again. Oh my God, that looks so good. First time I've seen that.
See?
So a real cool feature is the passenger display. Ellie's in the car. Ellie, talk to us about that passenger display and what's the reason for it?
So it immerses the passenger in the driving experience of the car, and so far I've had 100% take up when I've been speccing cars with customers for the passenger display as an option. So they can see the different driving modes that you're in, and also they can scroll through to see different settings of the vehicle.
So you've been at Lamborghini how long?
7 years now.
7 years, and you are
16.
16 years. What is your favourite Lamborghini ever, and what is your favourite Lamborghini to drive? Because I don't think it'll be the same car.
Favourite Lamborghini ever would have been the Performante.
Huracan.
Yeah.
Performante, yeah.
And to drive, because I've got kids, as an everyday, it'd have to be an Urus. It just does everything.
Okay.
Favourite Lamborghini ever, SV Roadster. Favourite Lamborghini to drive, Huracan Performante.
So my favourite Lamborghini ever would have to be my Aventador S Roadster. That's just the ultimate car. I love that car. Obviously, it might change down the line. And my best one to drive would be an Urus. Urus is, to me, I always say, if I could only ever drive one car for the rest of my life, what would it be? It'd be a Lamborghini Urus. So that is the end of this video. Thank you to Ru, thank you to Ellie. That is the follow-up from me specking my Revuelto. You know what, before we actually go, a couple of things. How do we say it?
Revuelto.
Revuelto, bring in the music. How do we say it?
Revuelto.
Okay, and it's time that you've been waiting for. Let's hear the cold start for the very first time. Did you see me jump? It's loud. I don't know how loud it sounds on the camera, but it's loud, so I'm not going to start it again. I wasn't prepared for the start because you've got to turn a few knobs and stuff. I didn't know what was going on. Usually it's foot on the brake, push the start button, the car fires up. But because it is hybrid, you've got to turn it into strada, and then you've got to turn it into recharge, and you've got to do a few things. And obviously I'm not used to it. So when it fired up, I was like, okay. And it was loud in the car. Obviously the windows are open and we're in the showroom, so obviously it echoes a lot louder than it normally would. This is going to be smiles for miles, and I'm going to drive my one. I'm going to put some mileage on mine. And obviously Yiannimize Grand Tour 2024. I'll be doing it in my Revuelto for sure. And my friend Phil also has one coming, and he said he's going to do it in his one. So there'll be 2 on the Yiannimize Grand Tour, which is going to be insane. So yeah, I'm really excited for this, really excited for this.